Assalamu alaikum. This is Advocate Gulrez Ishfaq. Today is the 17th of the March, and I'm enjoying the rainy weather, and I hope that everyone around us is enjoying the hot, cold weather remix. So, after having hectic atmospheric resolutions, there appear to be a lot of the challenges, and what is being confined to us in the public areas, the dehydration, the law, and the justice. Today, I would like to discuss the law and justice, the applied issues, the systematic failures of the individuals, not of the humans. Individuals differ from the humans, and when we just confine that area of living that the humans differ from the individuals, it apply solely in the element of living within the sector of the humanitarian observation as well. The reflection of the hour is based on the technocratic resolutions. When I just observe that, what does technocratic resolution means? It means that the information based on the technology, e-based resolution. The secondary problem in the Pakistan and the other reciprocating countries that the reproduction growth evaluation losses and the composition of the perfect sort of the transitional sorts of cost effective methods to the youth or the youngsters within their parameters of executing their lives as to uh, correlate their souls within the parameters of the perfections. I observe that, so I just reflect them. The area of the article 199, I always just have a question in my mind that if a person is suffering from an article that is called Article 199, what comes the next is Article 184. I'm contesting any petition. For instance, I'm just providing an example that is an exemplary thought of the century. That I'm contesting an open battle in the public sector in order to get relief from the court. That would be mounted as an interim relief, but I'm not in the position to have the interim relief because of the lack of the books of accounts of myself in order to the statutory obligations under the impulsive behavior of the departments, which I'm not even considering it. For instance, I'm providing this information. Therefore, the secondary issue, which is associated in the baseline of the primary, that the educational solutions which should have been provided to the children, that if you just talk with the child, if you have a talkative attitude with a child, in fact, what comes the next is that the such children under the guardian defection areas would have been considered that such children is absolutely being provided the due rights of the credible hours of the technology and the e-commerce and the other sorts of the reciprocating areas of the measurable transactions like the bank statement. But the cost, raising cost of the amounts and the life value is raising day after day and day by day as well. The proportional amounts of the females and the males and the derivations of the other sort of the humanity failures, the lack of innocence and the intellectual capacities, the failures of the ignorance and the permanent restoration reliefs to the humans insight, the insight of the humans and the derogatory remarks about the humans to the each other appealing to be a point of fact today as a matter of observation of either of us. Thereafter, what comes the next before us is an obsolete question of the ongoing challenges under the addictions. Now, I have to understand that there might be a lot of the addictions. Addiction itself is a subject after just observing that. Addiction is an ultimate failure of the central limits of the Pakistan provincial or the federations. But I'm not claiming that all of the departmental hierarchy is suffering from the federation failures, the provincial autonomy failures. There are certain and uncertain problems as well. The conceptual disabilities of the lack of confidence among the institution is not to deal or delay the correlations of the factual existence of disobedience of the same in the absence of the rights of the females and the males, and then we have to observe the uh, confined areas of the beggars in every town and everywhere, wherever we just want to execute ourselves in order to have the benefit of the living. The challenge of this century, which is being considered by everyone inside its house or home, that would be mounted as in penal clauses that the same subject matter could not even treat him as a product of humanity. Now, what comes the next? When we just travel from one place to another place, the second issue which we face from during the traveling, that we do not know the evaluation of the time and to cope with the pace of the working domains. In Pakistan and the Middle East, the biggest challenge, which I figured it out, that the Pakistani and the Indians do not value the time in order to valuation of the cost-effective narratives about the incremental ways of increasing the amounts of their uh, capital in trust. Now, hereafter, the question takes stand that what does it mean that capital in interest? Today, I would like to discuss the term capital in interest. Capital interest that I have a lot of capital, for instance, and I'm just want to have those capital into multiple uh, things, materials, in order to have the benefit of the a lot of the things. But when the benefit of the things would not be associated in the right direction, then the federation and the groups of the same would have been considered that they are not paying the taxes, and the huge amount of the taxes would be there which could not be delayed. And if I delay the taxes, what comes the next at? I am maintaining double status. For instance, I have a lot of the basic amenities to life. For instance, I'm giving the examples, but I don't have those amenities. So if I'm raising the capital, the governance, then I'm free from the applied statutory impulsive penal clauses from the governance. But I'm providing subsidies to the governance, then the governance will provide me a lot of the, you can say that, safeguards from the public. That would be called indemnity. And now I consider this fact at law, that after not considering these points of the facts, what comes before us as a problem, that would be counted as a collateral problem, that we are into the habit of the addictions of the certain and uncertain failures of the surrounding, and then we just claim in the battle lines of the electronic transactions through standing around for the better viewers, and then we just observe that the females are not into the positions of having the huge quantums of the relief from the interim garments as well. The Pakistan is suffering from the interim garments from now and then we observing this fact from more than 1 month. And after that, what appears to be the challenging task after that revocation of the governance is that the opposition lines which are battling in the governance, they are just trying to fight in return of the tangible and non-tangible profits and the assets, tangible assets and non-tangible asset as well. The intangible losses of the same would be considered on the capital losses of the exchequer of the governance as per my findings. The outstanding liabilities of the governance would be considered ex post facto liabilities of the prior governance. The former governance would lose the credibility of the reliability of the questions to the concurrent applied governance in the Pakistan as per my legal consideration under the Article 199. So, when we just apply the Article 199, we would consider the factual existence of the facts of the humanity. After that, we can restore the obstruction or destruction of the humanity. But when it comes to understand that the ordinary individuals and the ordinary person does not know the value of the human consumption or delivery of the things they are for what comes the next before us, that all of them in a sudden provocation of the multiple attitude of their negligence under the provocation of their surrounding act in the uh, narrations of the others, and they just have no point of the solutions to solve the problems of the individuals of the Pakistan. Thereby, I was basically observing these issues. The approved vagabond criminal. This is the biggest challenge as well. The approved criminals vagabond in the Pakistan everywhere. During the month of the March, I am observing these questions that the vagabond approved criminals everywhere because of non-profit organizations. The non-profit organizations should arrest, should have their custody through the custodial order of the uh, High Court's order, that the uh, individuals who are roaming here and there in order to have the benefit of the bread, so that the police can arrest them and to confine them beyond the NGOs, the non-profit organizations, so that the non-profit organizations would render their services from the help and the reciprocating help of the same, that the vagabond approved criminal could be turned down into the humans at the moderate points of living, and therefore what comes a good point of for them under the humanitarian observations in the perfect inclined lines of the laws as to observe the secure amounts for their better future under better half of their family, is appealing to both of them as a matter of grace. So, when we are not into the habit of consideration of the lawful observations of our surrounding, then we become approved and vagabond approved criminals into the habitual negations to the extracted points of the incomes and expenses. When we just grossly multiply the material in particulars, we just hide beside those material in particulars in order to have the benefit of doubt. But the benefit of doubt is not deferred from the governance. The benefit of doubt always referred to the governance to arrest the individuals. And then what comes the next is that the century, this is the global warming area. We are living in the global warming area and under the high inflated points of the humanity, and we have to work very hard in order to get our points of securing our future or our presence in the light and candle of the same. The commentary based challenges in the Pakistan appealing to no one. The factual commentary under the legal declined or inclined points would be considered by the Republicans. We should have been considered these points for the betterment of our society and for the better half of the surrounding, and therefore we can consider the judgment in narrations, judgment, declaratory judgment, and the known. These are legal issues. These are not my personal issues under personal vendetta of mine. When I observe that the narrations of the points of laws under the factual disobedience of the surrounding appealing to their self despite of their surrounding, what is the agenda before the anyone is that everyone is claiming in Pakistan that the Pakistan is not in the line of having economic packages. Okay, if the Pakistan is not in the rotation of the line control of the economy, then who is controlling the Pakistan is a question of uh, latest years which are going ahead. Now, the question is that I have spoke a lot of time about the rights of the females, infants, and then when I observe the mortality rate of the same or the death rate of the same in the Pakistan, what comes the next is that the parental neglection or neglected children under the Neglected Children Act 2004. I observe these conceptual disorders in the Pakistan by myself. When I observe the deficiency under the arrogance behaviors of the undergoing problems of the humans in the Pakistan, what comes the next is an alarming question that the dictations through ultimate aggressive channels to one place to another place is hereby affirmed by the individuals under the ignorance of the factual doubts. These are the solutions, or these are the challenges. One person always get confused while just testifying the confiscated commutation and the confined refreshment of it memory and itself under the self-esteem of him or her. The reliable questions and the reality of the life is confined with the basic amenity. The consensus about the religion, this is the greatest topic. The consensus about the religion is under the global threat as well. The religion itself become a multipolar cost negative area of living for the cost negated public tranquilizers in the public sector, because the public do not know the valuation of the religion. They just relate or correlate the religion in association for their personal agenda in aftermath of the death. Okay, we are into the diversity of the religion as well, that during the diversity of the religion, what comes the next is an open debate for a person of uh, stupidity or ultimate point of executions of the things. The debating points of the religion in Pakistan is a crime as per the humans, but not in the homes houses. The dualism culture, the dual faces of the Muslims. I'm very down to earth to observe this question, that this is confined to the Pakistani, that they are into the habit of considering the others to be puppets while just beating around the religion. Religion is a personal asset. I always claim it to be done. That I'm Muslim, I'm proud of that, but this is my personal asset. No one is there to say what should be done with religion. But in Pakistan, the public is always saying, are you offering namaz? Are you offering prayer? Are you offering this? They're after them just to waste, to harass the times of the others in order to just kill the time of the others and in order to get to succeed. These are called sudden addictions into the religion. Everywhere you go, you just figure it out that every person is suffering from uncertain types of the addictions through just selling of the words as well. The question, the selling of the word is another problem in Pakistan, that the wrong type of individuals are selling the words under the decorum of their vendetta, personal one. And after that, the revocations of the observations of the same would not be appealing to anyone. Now, here comes the economic principle declined activity, and we want revocation of the same. We just pray to Lord that we want everything, but we are not into the habit of devoting ourselves before the Lord or Allah. We are into the habit of considering the reciprocating help from the from the societal indifferences. We are into the habit of that, and this is why we are just going below average in every sector of life. We are not getting what we want from the departments, what we want to enhance in our lives, because we have multiple phases during the execution or extinguishment of liabilities under the excuses of someone else, and thereby the questions always stand by in front of us, that there is a liability, you are liable for the same in order to just fulfill your obligation in interest. And one cannot defend itself from the obligation in interest while stunting around. So stay blessed. This is Advocate Gulreza Shafaq, 17th March. Happy rainy day.